Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live in the NFL. Season kicks off tomorrow with Thursday night football. So just like I did all of last season, I'll be making my weekly picks against the spread. Now last season, I was pretty good at it. 36 games over 500 in the regular season, 148, 112, and 12. Postseason went 8-5, so hoping for as much success this season. Of course, week one is challenging because we don't have any regular season data for this season yet, but I'll do my best to get off to a good start. Let's get into my picks, starting with the Thursday night football game, the Ravens at the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Ravens as 3-point underdogs. If this was a postseason game, I probably wouldn't be taking the Ravens. But, the Chiefs lost their opener last year, still won the Super Bowl. Ravens should be motivated to win the game after being eliminated by the Chiefs last year in the postseason. No alarm bells will sound off if the Chiefs were to lose. Tough one, but I'm going to go with the Ravens. Friday night says at Eagles, but the game is in Brazil. I'm going to go with Jordan Love and the Packers. Now, I don't think the Eagles' swoon from last season will necessarily continue throughout the upcoming season, but, I am high on the Packers. Jordan Love is a bunch of guys to throw the ball to, and, I think he can have a very good game. Maybe not quite like he did against Dallas in the playoffs, but enough to at least keep it very close or a slight win. Bengals -8 versus the Patriots. Now, big news was that Jamar Chase practiced for the first time today, so looking like maybe he'll play in week one. He hadn't been practicing, wants a new contract, hasn't happened yet. But, I'm going with the belief that he's going to play. And, the Patriots just look like one of the worst teams. Jacoby Brissett, I don't think he's too bad. But, I think the Bengals win by double digits. Bills -6.5 versus the Cardinals. Who will Josh Allen throw the ball to? Not saying it doesn't matter, but I think he's good enough where, he could overcome not necessarily having that true WR1. And while I think the Cardinals may not be as bad as some people believe they will be, do look to have a slightly improved defense. I'm going with the Bills to win by at least a touchdown at home. Dolphins favored by 3.5 at home versus the Jaguars. I mean, let's be honest, the Dolphins, at least the past couple seasons, started off this season on fire before slowing down towards the end. Jaguars, I think they'll be in a battle for a playoff position, but early on in the season, I'm going to probably be taking the Dolphins often. This one I was kind of unsure about. The Texans -3 versus the Colts, and I believe the game is at Indianapolis, so I might have written that wrong. I am double checking. Texans yes, it should say at Colts, so the Texans are the road underdogs. The Texans are the road favorites. Anthony Richardson, first game back, very tough guy to defend, but Texans just have more star power in my eyes. This one, I actually was thinking of taking the Vikings +1.5. It went to 2. I mean, big deal, but I don't know. I am a Giants fan. I don't think I'm biased. You could go with my picks last year. I went against the Giants definitely more often than I went with them. Sam Darnold starting at quarterback for the Vikings. Maybe Malik Neighbors can go for 7 for 95 and a touchdown game. I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. I hope he proves me wrong. But I think the Giants keep it close. I'm higher on the Titans than most people. Not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they hold this to a field goal game, at least at Chicago. Caleb Williams' first game. Not sure if DeAndre Hopkins is playing for the Titans, but I think Jeffrey Simmons and crew can that was Caleb Williams' main weakness at the college level, just holding onto the ball too long, taking too many sacks. So I think they put pressure on Caleb. Let's go to the games 9 through 16. Gonna take the Falcons at home -3.5 versus the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers seem to find smoke and mirrors to win so many of their games. Despite subpar quarterback play, Russell Wilson getting the start. Falcons improved their defense, especially late in the offseason, trading for Matthew Judon, signing not Jeffrey Simmons. Oh my gosh, not Jeffries. Who'd they sign? Justin Simmons. I'm like, come on. All right, Justin Simmons. So they should have an improved defense. They haven't had much of a pass rush recent seasons. I think that'll be improved. We know Russell Wilson does take a lot of sacks. Saints -4 versus the Panthers. If I had to predict, I would actually predict the Saints to. You know what? I don't know. I'll actually predict either the Falcons or the Saints to win the NFC South. I know, surprising. I think Derek Carr will do a little bit better this season, and he did show improved play at the end of last year. Fingers crossed, Chris Olave has a good season. I kept him in my keeper auction league in fantasy football. Seahawks -6 versus the Broncos. Bo Nix's first career start. Who other than Cortland Sutton? I mean, Marvin Mims. Do we really know if he's going to be able to handle a large workload? At Seahawks, too many weapons on offense. I think they'll be able to score quite a bit on Denver. I've always been a believer in the Aaron Pierce Raiders. And Jim Harbaugh's first game back with the San Diego Chargers. Not necessarily a believer in Gardner Minshew. Antonio Pierce. Aaron Pierce was a former tight end with the Giants. Antonio Pierce, linebacker. Sorry, guys. My second day back at school. Trying to get my mind from being muddled. But yes, I think the Raiders at least keep it close. Let's see. Zamir White, really his first time as a bell cow back to start this season. For the Raiders, will Max Crosby make Justin Herbert's life miserable as, who's their wide receiver one? Joshua Palmer. Browns -2.5 at home versus the Cowboys. I think that Browns defense makes it very challenging for Dak Prescott. Can't really respect Dallas's run game with Zeke, maybe Dalvin Cook, Rico Dowdle. Commanders +3.5 at the Buccaneers. As you heard me mention, I think the Falcons and Saints will be top two in the NFC South, which means the Buccaneers would fade. And I think Jaden Daniels has a good first game as a pro. Rams +3.5 at the Lions. This kind of reminds me of the postseason game. It was a similar spread. I took the Rams because I thought it would be a super close game. It was. Lions won, Rams covered. Maybe expecting the same. In our Monday night football game, 49ers, Aaron Rodgers return for the Jets. Will he make it through his first full game with the Jets? 49ers, too many weapons. They got Brandon Ayuk to sign. Trent Williams is back, restructured his deal. I think the 49ers start off with a win. But let me know in the comments, who are some of your best bets? What do you agree with, disagree with? Let's hope that as good as I was last year. I can't guarantee it. But let's start off the season with a good winning record. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.